What's up, everyone? It's your girl Rothy. Welcome to yet another installment of the Naughty Numerology podcast. Today is what is today? Today is the 23rd of April. I've written it down probably two or three times today alone. Yeah, and some of the errands that I had to run. Hence the reason why I'm calling this the chaotic episode. It's an overall 5-8 today. So I guess it would be an overall 8-5. So if you've watched any of my stuff, you probably have heard me rant and rave about the 8-5 combination, 5-8 combination, and how this is the most volatile pairing. So that is the energy that will likely be permeating through this video as well. Heads up with that. I'll do my best to stay on target. If you have seen me before, you know I can get a little ADD and just kind of go with the energy. So bear with me on that as well. And it does not help that 420 came by. There was some 420 left over and it was just imposed upon me. So I apologize if, I'm going to do my best to keep on target. With that being said, welcome again to another episode. This is going to be a great episode. I do want to talk about we need to get some things just out in the open, and I think that that's where I'm struggling to find my words right here, is because I need to just get real with you guys about some things, and I'm trying to figure out what's the slide into that conversation. How do I properly drop this news to them? Like, how do I come out with this? And I'm like, everything in energy and confirmation and just messaging and so much more for the past several months as a part of this process has been telling me that it is multiple things. One of the main things being my authenticity that is going to be one of the main catalysts of the success of my brand, of the podcast, of what I'm trying to do in this messaging, right? Because it's been quite a struggle for the past several months since December when I started putting a podcast together. It's been named three different things since then. I've had multiple co-hosts, I've had multiple formats, I've had multiple people helping me, and we continue to come back to me and you. So I think I may have to humble myself in this regard because there was a very successful producer, award-winning podcast producer that was, kind of guiding me for a while, who did tell me once, you do want to get used to doing the shows yourself because it's great to have co-hosts and everything, but unless it's their show, unless it's like a full production that they're under contract, like literally you are going to be doing pretty much everything and they're going to fall away. It always happens. So learn to do it by yourself. And another really, really successful podcaster, who's also a friend of mine, told me the same, like, you can do it on your own. You're great enough to do it on your own. So I want to talk to you a little bit about that, as well as how I got here, why I'm trying to do this podcast. It's unlike anything else ever. And I think that's a big part of the reason why I am having to try so many different combinations of format to see what is the true alignment and flow, proper flow for this show, in order for me to be able to teach you guys the information that the priority of the show and the reason for this, the purpose and intent is so that I, Rothy, Sarah Rothblatt, can tell the world my story of my incredible spiritual awakening that has countless true stories of crazy things that happened in the spiritual and the paranormal, all of which have multiple witnesses, right? My dad, who's passed away, is a big part of this story as well. I talk about this. I even have segments that I wanted to input as a part of the podcast in honor and incorporating him in so many ways. So we still may do that, but what I need to try to do to convey to my audience is what I'm trying to teach you. And what is that? That's numerology. Why am I trying to teach people numerology? Okay. Why is it so important? Why do I Why have I found that this is literally my purpose to teach the world numerology? How did I come to the point where I feel like I was born to do this and I have to do it as quickly as possible? Because, my friends, numerology, unlike what church or religion or so many other people think about it, numerology is the fundamental truth of life and reality in our existence. Let me explain. Numerology is the framework to our simulation. You see, like all the binary in the matrix, the binary numbers going up and down. That's what numerology is in our real world. That's why that's why movies are literally disclosure of what we are experiencing. Okay. Numerology is the blueprint, just as our DNA is the blueprint to our physiological makeup, how we're going to look, how tall we're going to be, et cetera, et cetera. Our numerology is the blueprint, right? Or the binary coding to our life's experience as far as personal numerology. There's also numerology in dates, hence the daily energy update that I did today. And most importantly, well, I guess most importantly from my perspective, because a lot of how I learned numerology, and we'll talk a little bit about this today here in a moment, but a lot of how I learned that was through how the elites have used numerology throughout history, right? And we're going to talk about that because next week, your girl, yours truly, turns 46 years old. Now, this is a very, 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 this is a very important day, guys. And we're going to talk about it. Okay, sorry. If you have never had or been in a reading with me, sometimes that there's energy that comes in, right? I just feel it or I just sense it and it kind of takes my breath away like that. That's what just happened. So, and I have been anticipating something about my birthday. So, without further ado, let's continue with the episode and being real about this, right? Being transparent about it. Sorry for the ADD. Again, energy takes me sometimes. Okay, so the real conversation. Why am I doing this? Because numerology is the answer to everything. The fundamental truth for everything can be found in numerology. How do I know this? Again, I learned a lot of numerology through my specific birthday, and we'll go into that in a moment, as well as how the elites use it and move, right? With that being said, and how they communicate to each other, and it was 10:11 on the clock or on the timer as soon as right when I said that, which is interesting because a part of that communication was the 111 that really brought that sort of awareness to my understanding about numerology and how the elites communicate with one another. You'll find a lot of the old tweets that Trump would send out when he's like talking shit to opposition or to, the elites, whatever. He would post it at a 111 marker, which is like 1101 or 1011 or 1110 or 111. Like it's any of those times, right? 111, people call them angel numbers. They're not angel numbers. That's the dumbest name for them. But 111, one of the attributes and strongest meanings of that triplicate is war. It's foe, it's adversary. So you'll find that a lot of those more warning or threatening tweets from Trump were sent on the 111 markers because, again, the elites understand this, right? So why is that important to teach you? Well, it also goes into the quantum, right? Because if we understand that everything is energy, everything and everyone is energy, Tesla proved this. We know this now, right? We also know, per the double slit experiment, about protons and electrons and matter ceasing to exist when there is no observer. If you don't know anything about that, go YouTube it because it's legit the most incredible thing that I think science has ever proven was that reality legitimately collapses and ceases to exist when it does not have an observer, when it does not have an observer. Go look it up. So, I believe personally that energy from the physical that it collapses away from goes into fill something else simultaneously that needs refilling in that moment, and it's all energy and it just transfers. That's my personal belief in how I understand it. It's the best way I know how to say that. So, I know it sounds deep. Go with me here, guys. Okay, so how does numerology fit into this? Well, numerology is a big piece of proof of the simulation. And I can prove this. I can prove this by the thousands of clients that I've had from near and far across the world. Every single numerology chart that I have done, I have always, always, always walked away with people being like stunned that I could tell them the things about them that I did. I have not, knock on wood, not that I'm never wrong, but like I have not ever had a chart that I read where they were like, oh, you're wrong. Like, no, that's completely off. Like, I don't know what you're talking. That's not happened before. It's perfect every time. And it doesn't even have to do, you know, necessarily with a personal numerology chart. Like this can be something on dates, something on, just in reading the truth through numbers and whatever situation or scenario in life, it will always be, it's like math. It's always going to be perfect, right? So that's numerology. Everything and everyone is energy. How do we quantify energy? Through frequency. How do we quantify frequency? Through numbers. Therefore, everything and everyone is numbers, aka numerology, aka God's sacred language. Because there's so much of the word from our creator that has been encoded into the books that are man made, right? Again, numerology speaks to this. Hence the reason that high ranking state and religious officials throughout history have deemed things like numerology and astrology and things like that, like, oh, that's heresy, that's witchcraft, et cetera, as well as gospels that the church had been following for many years prior to them deeming them heresy. So, man has had his grubby hands within religion, and we see that in every religion from Christianity, which has probably been responsible for more deaths as far as a religion, I mean, probably right there next to, Islamic or Muslim type stuff, just because that's so prevalent within their culture and religion anyway. Like they do things like honor stuff and, like the martyr stuff, so like in addition to conquesting. So, you know, any religion that you look at, I would say except for maybe like Buddhism. I don't think Buddhism is trying to take anybody out. I don't necessarily know that. I've not studied, all of religions, but I know this much. Religion is what separates us. Meanwhile, we are all connected through energy, and this is proven, right? And and the creator is literally a part of all of us and is connected. It's the same essence, source energy, put itself in little pieces into our avatars to experience the 3D and other dimensions and densities happening simultaneously because time truly doesn't exist. And so we are all a part of that. And if we can understand and come to the realization that it is a simulation, if we can prove this, which I believe numerology does, then we have a hack to the matrix. In fact, it was numerology itself that was one of the main catalysts of my spiritual gifts awakening. The first time any sort of spiritual gift became super apparent happened live on a consult with a woman in Florida who was a complete stranger. I'd never met her before. And it's recorded, it's still on my YouTube till this day. And literally, I legit channeled her cousin who had been murdered. I drew a tattoo of him, which was a character from South Park, and it was pretty incredible. It's still up there, like, and after that, the the gifts grew exponentially. So I came to see that numerology is also DNA activation codes and frequencies. So certain frequencies, I have these right here. And for those just listening, this is it's a tuning fork, right? Incredibly good for healing stuff. Again, everything is energy, everything is frequency. I remember I went, my college, my degrees are recording arts and entertainment business. I worked in the entertainment field for over 10 years with legends, superstars, sports, artists, et cetera, et cetera. And I learned in audio school, one of the things that they teach you about is how sound works, how sound waves move. And then you understand that they teach you about like audio weaponry and warfare that militaries have done experiments with and attempted to use because it's so powerful. They have what's called the brown note, which, if you shoot it into a human body, that frequency will make a person shit themselves. And then you have the black note, which, if you shoot it into a person's body, it will make their heart stop. It's called the black note. It will take you out. So that sort of technology absolutely exists. But the point is, I mean, you look at Rife machines or PEMF machines, this sort of like healing frequency technology, red light therapy, etc. Everything is energy, right? So, with that being said, to get the world to wake up and understand that we are absolutely living in a simulation in the matrix, and that if you understand numerology, you can hack your way through it. You can literally hack life, you know, understand certain frequencies and what they mean, understand certain dates and why certain things would happen then. I've predicted stock market booms, talk about, literally making money and stuff, when not to fly, those sort of things. So I do believe that it is that important. I do believe that it is that um, prevalent of a part of our reality, that if majority of humanity knew about it, we would be at such a much higher level of consciousness. So, with that being said, how do you put together a podcast? Oh, also, let's not forget, I didn't mention the fact that I'm legit like half retarded all the time. I don't mean to say that in an offensive way. I say it in a sincere way because I think I probably could be. I've got stuff, like, but I think everybody has stuff. I think everybody's on a spectrum of some sort. It's just like where you happen to fall. How many, you know, what was your schedule when you were a baby type shit, like that's what it is. If we're gonna That's another thing about the show is I need to be real. I have a throat chakra that needs to scream. I need to talk about the real shit. I'm tired of being censored. I want to talk about some real deep shit. How do I also do that while trying to teach you guys numerology And also just allowing myself to be the crazy, sometimes like super funny, sometimes incredibly intelligent and creative, sometimes bullyish, like bitch. Like, how do I put all of that together in one show for you? Make it cohesive to where it makes sense and intrigue you guys enough to where you want to learn more. What can I do to make that better? Right. So I've had tons of ideas. I've had tons of, let me put the mic over here. I've had tons of, you know, people have given me advice. They have, I think that, I feel ultimately that this show needs to be, authentic. It needs to be organic. It needs to be something that is like, I know it's going to be unlike anything else. And that's okay with me. I think that we're in entering the age of Aquarius right now. Like, it's the weird things in life. That's why I'm doing the Beauty and the Beast review of Jelly Roll and Bunny XO's charts, because I gotta come to my girl Bunny's defense real quick, but we'll talk about that in a moment. But that is why I'm picking their charts to talk about this sort of new era that we're going into, where this old paradigm of beauty is thrown out the door and authenticity is the new black. Like, authenticity is the highest frequency that there is. It's above love, you know. So authenticity, being your pure, crazy, half retarded, half cringe, like funny, beautiful self. And that's what I need to do with this podcast. And I need to do it openly and transparently. And I know sometimes I'm going to fucking fly with it. And I know sometimes I'm going to fall on my face in front of you. And I'm okay to do that. I'm okay to learn in front of you guys. Like, I have no shame with it. So that's all I'm saying. If anybody hears this podcast or sees this and is like, wow, it's just, it doesn't fit into the podcast norm or this expectation of what a podcast should sound like or look like. I'm not trying to fit into any box. I'm doing this shit myself, by myself. Nobody's helping me. And it's like, I need so much help. God, I wish I could get like executive production and a team to help me, because I just want to be able to tap in and focus and create content to be able to teach you guys, utilizing the everyday news of the day, funny shit, you know, my creative genius, all of that. A I want to put together like a theme show, you know what I mean? Like a variety show for you guys that includes numerology and funny shit and inappropriate shit, and also shit that's going to help everybody become that much more intelligent and prepared and ready for the matrix and us getting through it. You know what I mean? I think humanity senses anymore. I think you got to be a fucking NPC at this point to realize that there is shit and there has been shit going down for a while. And most of the people that so many people trusted for so long are actually lizards and shit like that. And we got to get our shit together before we end up in fucking eggs somewhere. You know what I mean? Like before the movie manifests itself, legit. Because think about 10 years ago or 5 years ago and where we are today. Okay, so all right, so that's again, why is it the weird format? Well, number one, I'm weird. Accept it. I love it. I embrace it. I am a birthday one. My birthday's next week, May 1st. Feel free to wish me the happiest birthday. Feel free to visit my the Rothy at the Rothy, a Cash App and Venmo and whatever else. Like, feel free to show me love. I'll accept it. But anyways, so the one is the weirdo. The one is one of the leaders, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But The one is very like, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna blaze my own path. I'm gonna blaze my own trail, and y'all can come if you want. It's very like Jerry Maguire like that, you know. And so, very authentic, not afraid to be itself. And I'm not afraid to be weird. I'm the one and only, you know. Like you're never gonna find an energy like me ever, and that's the one. So yeah, I'm weird, and then also I need production. Need a production crew. Executive production. If anybody wants to executive produce me, I will make us a shit ton of money. I just need a team. I need help with this. Okay, so also there's no other show like this that's been done like this before. There's hardly anything in numerology and podcasting, but also what there is just is not at all along the format of what I'm trying to, I say format, but the anti format that I am trying to be, if that makes sense. So, with that being said, one of the, it's also very hard to like talk to yourself like off the cuff. I know that a lot of people have their podcast and their talk and their review and their topic points, and that's great and all. And I could sit here and review topic points to you and look all pretty. And if that's what you guys want, then that's what I'll do. I feel like I want to be like more off the cuff and just like again authentic and real with it. Even if I sound like more ridiculous, I almost feel like that's the energy that's allowing me to naturally express that energy, if that makes sense. I'm open to trying whatever though. So feel free to give me your feedback. And in fact, I want your engagement and I want your feedback, even if it is constructive criticism. I mean, please be nice, but like, yeah, let me know what's not working for you, what is, and I'm going to take all that stuff into consideration. It's one of my favorite things, which is the Daily Did You Know, aka the Daily Dick, which is an acronym for our new segment where we talk about interesting facts, but also news of the day where we're getting screwed. So it's a double entendre, you know, of course. But with that being said, let's go ahead and drop some daily dick, right? And this is where I like to come out and be inappropriate. Like I want to be inappropriate. I want I don't know why. Like I'm a professional. Like I am a good person. I don't like things like porn. I'm very like a prude in a lot of ways, but I want to have a segment of my show called The Daily Dick where we're talking about getting screwed, and it's also the Daily Did You Know segment, news segment, you know? So again, just let me know your thoughts with it. I think it's creative genius personally, but it's also me. All right. So this is some random dick for that ass right now. But okay, so my boy sent me this, the co-inventor of my segment here. But did you know in 1900, King Umberto I of Italy visited a restaurant where he was astonished to find that the owner was his exact double. The two men discovered numerous similarities between their lives. They were both born on the same day in the same town. Both had married women named Margarita, and both had sons named Vittorio. In a tragic twist, the restaurant owner was killed in a shooting accident on July 29th, 1900, the same day that King Umberto I was assassinated by an anarchist. Now, once again, shout out to the homie Draw for that. Did you know? This is the random, just kind of weird fact of the day. Now, let me just go ahead and put this disclaimer out there because I am familiar. This is, again, co-inventor of my segment because this was the man that has been sending me and other people daily Did You Know facts for over a year, every day, okay, for the most part. And I have tried to call his bluff on some of these facts, and I promise you, there are some crazy did you knows that Darrell be sending people. This being kind of one of them. And I picked this one and I liked it. He actually sent it today. And the reason I wanted to use this was a segue into our next segment. But that's the story of the did you know, right? I have tried to call him and call his bluff on some of these. They always come true. They always prove true. These are daily did you know facts that are insane. They are insane. And they seem like they wouldn't be true. And there's no way that they could be true. And they're all legit true. So, the reason that I wanted to bring this one into today's episode, also just FYI, July 29th, 1900 is an overall 111, which we talked about before. And 29 is an 11. So that's a really interesting date as well, in and of itself. But July 29th is also Dak Prescott's birthday. Shout out to the homie. I know that just because I'm a Cowboys fan who lives in Dallas and I'm a numerologist. So of course I did their shit. But all right. And to which I said, that is likely the most insane dick ever. And then number two, I said, can't nobody tell me we don't live in a simulation. And that is the segue into what I wanted to be another segment on the show called Proof of the Simulation. And it's different things that I have found in life that show that we live in a simulation, such as passing out, such as what happens when you go under general anesthesia. There's certain other things that I've talked about. Excuse me, but proof of the simulation. I guess that's what this whole show is about, is to showcase the proof of the simulation in many different ways, right? And also have a lot of inappropriate fun while we're at it. Can I just do that with my show, please? Is that okay? Are y'all okay with that? Because I feel like I'm supposed to fit into a box I don't want to. Like, I just want to do a show where I talk about numerology and I talk about your favorite sports stars and your favorite celebrities, and I do their numerology. I do your numerology. I talk about dates in the news. I talk about happenings and daily dick. Can we do that, please? And then we all come together and learn to decode and pick out other proofs, of the simulation at the same time. Anybody else interested in talking about this shit? That's what this podcast is. Okay. All right, let's go into the next dick. Can I take a drink real quick? Because my mouth is getting dry. I can't do the daily dick with a dry mouth, you know. Alrighty then. Okay, so I have another dick of the day, and this is not necessarily news that is screwing us, but it is a did you know? And I think it's important that as my listeners and followers that you are aware of this. And I think it's maybe kind of important that I even come to the acknowledgement of this. Not that I'm coming to an acceptance, but it's an acknowledgement for sure. Did you know that I think at this point in time in my spiritual awakening, knowing what I'm about to discuss with you about my birthday, as well as my life story and everything else, I think that I was actually born to be a witch. Oh, God, that hurts to say. I don't want to be a witch. Like, I don't consider myself a witch. I have my friends joke with me and call me the witch doctor and laugh with me and joke with me. I'm not a witch. I've been called a witch many, many times. I'm not a witch. I don't want to be a witch. That's not, I don't conjure spirits. I don't do things like that. I don't do cards. Like, I have cards here, and my cards are like mindful messages. And I do have number cards, but it's like, and then this is like fucking relax cards. They're like super inappropriate, funny cards. You know what I mean? Just like funny cards. That's it. Like I don't do tarot. I don't do none of that, right? And no shade on any. I've met a lot of psychics. I've met a lot of, tarot people. I've met all sorts of people that have spiritual gifts that aren't necessarily, within, once again, anybody's boxes, especially that of religion. So I don't necessarily judge with that, but at the same time, I don't I don't feel comfortable with titles in general. I hate, why do I got to call myself anything? Like I struggled for a long time with like, what should I call myself as the host? Am I just the host, but I'm also the one explaining numerology. And yes, I'm an expert numerologist. Okay. So that sounds okay, cool. I still struggle with that too, but because I'm also an empath, right? Well, what's an empath? An empath is somebody that can feel somebody else's emotions. Okay, that's cool. Um, what else do you do? Oh, I'm an automatic writer. I'm a clairsentient, claircognizant, and all these names for things that I can do based upon these spiritual gifts that have just blossomed in me within the past 5 years of my spiritual awakening. Okay. That's another thing. It's like, I don't, I need friends to talk to about this sort of stuff because I know that there are those of you out there who have gone through similar things like me. My catalyst, my main catalyst was numerology and certain people in my life, specifically a certain person. Like, I know you guys have gone through it too. A lot of you have because I've heard about that. I actually just had a review, a 5 year review with my girl Monica, who I met 5 years ago when I did her chart initially, and same thing with that. It's like there's so much growth that has happened. There's so much story that's a part of the awakening, and she too went through that, went through awakening on her of her own, and she tells me about this in our update video, which is going to be episode 7 dropping soon. So after this video, so it's an ongoing story, and I feel that my life, it's not that I'm anybody special, right? It's not an ego thing. That's not, if anything, I'm being shown in messaging and so much else that I'm supposed to be that front and center person. The one is up front and center, the CEO, like I don't want to be up front and center. That's why I kept trying to get like co-hosts. I want somebody to talk to me with this. I want to have a conversation. I don't just want to stand up here and teach you guys lessons. Yeah, that's part of it, but I want to have conversations and engage and laugh and be funny and creative and intelligent and, you know, be me, which is kind of weird everywhere. So come with. All right, but just okay. So, did you know that I think I was born to be a witch? Why do I say that? Okay, well, like I said, my birthday is coming up in a week and a half, and I promise you right now, this is a dates to watch included in this because I used to do those. There's some shit going down on my birthday this year. I know that. Some big worldwide shit. Like something's gonna happen. I say worldwide shit, but I mean like worldwide news. Like it would make international news. Whatever's gonna happen on May 1st of this year. Why? Why? And how does that tie into me feeling like I was born to be a witch? Okay, well, let's talk about it. I don't want to admit it, but May 1st, and this is a part of my awakening story too, because it was my birthday, finding out what my birthday was, that sent me in a fucking tailspin, headfirst dive, swan dive into the abyss of all, rabbit holes that numerology ended up being for me. It changed my entire life. But it was my birthday that was like, holy shit, I gotta look further. I was born May 1st. Well, what most people are, oh, that's May Day. The kids dance around the maypole. Yeah, that's true. But it's also so much more. that stemmed from shit that happened long before, which is the actual fundamental truth of what May 1st is. So let's talk about it. May 1st, to witches throughout history, is like their Christmas. It is bigger. It is the most evil day of the year. The second most evil day of the year is 6 months to the day from May 1st, which is October 31st, All Hallows Eve. While Purgesnot is the one day of the year, and it actually goes from April 30th, evening, sundown of April 30th, kind of like how the Hebrew, holidays work, and Sabbath and stuff like that, is sundown the night before, overnight to sundown the next day. So April 30th is Walpurgis Not, but so is May 1st. I was born. You ready for this? And this one's just hitting me right fucking now. How have I not noticed this ever? I was born, literally, me and my brother, 15 years apart, but we were both born on Monday afternoons at 3 p.m. on the dot. I was born in El Paso, Texas on May 1st at 3 p.m. on the dot, as was my brother. Three is a big number, and so is 33, and the occult and witchcraft and all of that. But May 1st is Walpurgisnacht. It's the one day of the year where the veil is the thinnest between this world and the spiritual world, right? And on this day throughout history was the day that covens would commune with Satan himself to produce and manifest other demons and bad spirits in the world to do the devil's bidding, right? Ugh, like, fuck, I'm just dizzy right now. I hate that. I don't even like talking about it, right? But it's the truth of, it's the fundamental truth of, and I'm wondering, why have I all my life, I've loved rocks. I loved my rocks even before I knew what they were. Even before I knew what crystals were, I was collecting them. I just loved them. My mom, I feel like my mom was supposed to be a witch too, in a way, because just so much of my life, so much craziness of my mom taught me how to make salves and tinctures and things like that. My mom's a super holy roller Christian lady. She would never ever call herself a witch. But I was born on the witchiest witch day of the year, legitimately. If you go to Zena LaVey's Instagram, right, which is Zena Shrek, right now, she renounced 5:55 on the clock. She renounced Satanism. This is Anton LaVey's daughter. Anton, Le- Anton LaVey was the father of the Satanic Church, the Church of Satan, right? Xena and them used to be on all sorts of like Donahue shows and stuff like that. Sally Jesse Raphael shows back in the day, talking about that with her father, right? She renounced Satanism in the 90s, I want to say, on Walpurgisnacht. Which to me, when I read that, I'm obsessed with her, by the way. I would love to speak with her. I know she doesn't do interviews or anything like that anymore. I've legit reached out. It's She's notoriously hard to, she won't do it anymore. I know she probably went through a lot. I feel a lot of connection to her in relationship to father, I feel spiritually, although my father was not a Satanist. No, he loved Jesus, and he's also, comes from the Jewish side. But um, I have this like I can kind of relate with her kind of in ways. And she found that Walpurgisnacht, which is this old, ancient, pagan, druid witch holiday, where these witches would, these covens would get together and dance out, naked in the, forest at night and do these ceremonies to bring forth bad stuff, right? And So that's, I mean, that in and of itself is insane. But that was not, that's more of like recent revelations in my life, and why I'm saying, like, I feel like I gotta come to terms with the fact that I may have been coded to be a witch. Well, why would God code me to be a witch? That's a crazy thing to say, especially for somebody who was raised as a Christian in the church and who still, like, I claim, like, I understand, I believe in God. I believe in the creator. I believe he is what church taught us he is. But I also believe in Christ. I believe in Yeshua. I believe in that all of that is also coded too, right? And just so many things, Christ consciousness, God within us, so on and so forth. But I do believe, we do have a God, and it's our higher power, and it's within us, right? With that Christ consciousness. So, like, yes, I believe all of that. But do I believe like rapture and all of that? No, 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 no. But I say all of this to say that why why would somebody like me who believes in Yeshua, aka what people who people call Jesus, right? And God, why would I say that I was probably born to be a witch? Why would I say that? Well, again, look at my birthday. But not only that, at 3 p.m., exactly 3 p.m., not only that, if you go to Isaiah 45:7 in the Bible, it's a pretty, it's probably the craziest Bible verse that there is. If you take a look at it and really process what that says. And what it says is basically, I, God, do all things. I do evil, I do good, I do bad, I do like, and it mentions all these different things, calamities, damage, death, whatever. Like it says, I, God, do all these things, which lends to the theory that, I mean, it just, it, it contradicts so much else in the Bible about, oh, God is holy, only he can't be around sin. He can't, well, if he makes evil happen. So it's a crazy verse. It really challenges one's cognitive dissonance as a Christian and as one who was raised in the church. So I cite that verse as to say that God created witches too. Yes, I said it. God, that felt amazing. God created witches too. Now, am I with witchcraft and occult stuff? Like, no, I'm not with doing seances and stuff like that. However, do you understand what prayer is? That's spelling. Do you understand what literally like writing is and speaking? It's spelling. Why do you think they call it spelling? Because it's casting spells. I'm recording this on an iPad, which uses crystals and lithium to power and to work it. It's legit crystal magic. I love it when Christians and pastors try to go off on me in TikTok. I hope I'm like, I love it when they try to go off on me, religious people, and they're like, blah, 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 crystal magic, you're crazy, you're a witch, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you're commenting this on your cell phone, right? And then I break down the crystal magic, like legit lithium and crystal quartz and so like, oh yeah, crystal magic. Oh, also, what else is crystals? We're crystals. We are crystals. So it's why we need minerals, because we're also crystals. So, and we're water, which is also required for crystals. So yeah, kind of science proves it as well, that that shit that religion calls taboo is probably everything needs to just be thrown out the window, right? And that's what I had to do. I had to like, I look at it this way. My spiritual awakening was like I had a massive garage full of shit of all sorts of understandings of the world, religion, who we are as spirits, who God is, how it works, the physical, the quantum, the spiritual, the this and that. I have crazy ghost stories from when I was a child, and that's also part of, this paranormal stuff, my obsession with that sort of thing. I don't want to say obsession, but fascination with it for sure. And all of that, right? Because again, my life is a great testament to and proof of the connection of numerology and the matrix, the quantum world, the spiritual meeting the physical. So that's the goal of this. Like, I really hope that that makes sense, guys. I really hope that that is resonating. I feel like as we go, if you stick with me and you just ask questions and again, just stick with it, you're going to start to see where it comes together. It's not really hard. It's not really hard. Once you get, there's 12 basic digits that you need to understand, and that's it. That's it. Then you can pretty much start decoding life. It's nuts. And I can help you to do that, right? And when I help you to do that and you do that, you find other things. And I believe that when you do your own charts, I believe it opens up some DNA activation code. I believe it's a DNA activation code and it opens up some sort of ability in your spiritual awareness. Do your own charts, get to know your charts. Whatever your chart line is, say that number to yourself. Look at that number all the time, as much as you can. It's going to open shit up for you. I promise you it will. Like, I feel like it will happen for anybody because we're all made to have these abilities, right? And I'm nobody special. So if it happened to me, why couldn't it happen to you? Right? Okay. With that being said, we talked about the fact that I could be like I might have been born to be a witch, right? I am not going to say that I was, but I'm just saying there's so much proof from what I'm looking at that. And that's another thing. It's like, what if I want to be a godly person? What if I want to be like somebody that God loves, that I'm doing for good? Like, but I was born to be this. Like, and I look at specifically Anton LaVey again, I'm kind of legit fascinated by them. And his numerology was 111. Told you before at the beginning of this video, that's war, that's foe, that's enemy, threat, So it's a warning. So it's also the numbers that my dad lets me see every single day because we went because of the spiritual awakening story that happened with he and I on 11/10 of 2019. And then on 11/11, the video that we made about it, it's literally the biggest part of my awakening. So we'll talk about that another time. I want to move on to the segment in which we call, speaking of, and I'm going to say this in the best way possible, like the segment that I am entitling Beauty and the Beast, which is the revisit to the Jelly Roll and Bunny XO charts that I did, I believe, back in December on TikTok. Um, and they, plus my girl K Fox and her fiance, Jonathan, were the catalyst of me wanting to start this podcast. Doing that, doing Bunny and Jelly Roll's charts, and then doing my girl's charts is what made me start this podcast, right? And the reason that I want to revisit it today, um, a couple of reasons, but you know, Bunny ended up liking all three of the TikTok videos I made about her and Jelly Roll's charts and commenting on all three, saying I was pretty spot on, thanking me for doing it. And yeah, so Bunny XO approved. That's crazy. But a little bit about the history with that, because I want people to once again understand where I'm coming from. I am not a fan of celebrity. I worked for many years in media. I've worked with legends, people like Shaka Khan, people like Dwight Howard. I've worked NFL events. I've worked with, DJ Khaled. I've worked with big people. Okay. I have a great resume. So what? No big deal. Like, I'm related to billionaires. It's no big deal, right? I'm a spiritual person the 3D does not have much to impress me with. And when it comes to celebrities specifically, anybody who knows me as a truther knows that I like to call out the lizards from like the real people when it comes to the celebrity world, because a lot of those people are put in those places to like kind of take us down. But there are rare occasions that that I can tell through energy these are real good people, and even though they're in these celebrity positions, they're doing work for the good side. One of those people, what aka, who I call among the chosen, is Kyrie Irving. Hence the reason I did the sports special, right? Which was a couple episodes ago. Another one of those people, or two of those people, is Jelly Roll and Bunny XO. Now, when I did their charts a few months ago, I was not familiar with these people. I had just started getting into watching podcasts on TV, and I had seen them all over several podcasts. And of course, how can anybody not notice Bunny XO and Jolly Roll? How can you look at that couple and not notice them, right? So, and plus they were all over all sorts of podcasts. So then I see that my girl Liz had come to Dallas to go to a Jelly Roll concert out here. There's another name for that. Okay. So I'm seeing this Jelly Roll name. Then my girl K Fox sang for him when he won his CMA award, CMT award, whatever, back in November last year. She sang at his party. So I'm putting this together, and I'm like, they're a very very tons of energy surrounding this couple, and what a unique couple and all that. And the more that I watched them on these reels and clips from podcasts, the more that I became interested in them. Now to this day, and I'm stating this now and I've said this before, I have not and I will not intentionally listen to a Jelly Roll song, because I have never heard a Jelly Roll song. I want to be able to say that. I was not fans of these people. In other words, I had just picked them out because I'd seen the energy surrounding it, right? So I did their minis on TikTok. Bunny liked and commented on them. And then I did my girl K Fox and Jay Nixon's, and it had a lot to do very similar with Jelly Roll and Bunny XO. And they're all out in Nashville, right? Also, Nashville right now is popping. So I was like, what is going on with this like energy right now surrounding Nashville and podcasting? You got Theo Vaughn out there, you got the viral podcast out there, you've got who else out there? Bunny XO and them. Um, so I was just like, what's going on with this lady? What is she doing? Hence the reason that I wanted to do their charts. So I did a compatibility reading on there, and I want to review this. And the reason I want to review it is as follows. And I'm going to go ahead and show you. I'm going to show you the video that Miss Bunny XO posted on her social media. And she's pissed right now. And I think I'm doing this review to kind of come to her defense and come to their defense in a way, because those who know me and who have followed me for years understand that I don't talk shit, and I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong when I do my readings. So all of my reputation that comes with me is going to back Bunny. And again, she told me I'm spot on with my shit. So she doesn't know me from Dick either, right? I'm here to back up what. Anyways, watch this reel and then we'll talk about it. Okay, so as we see, she was a bit upset about that, and that's super super sad. Kind of breaks your heart, especially if you have any idea about them now and how cool they are and loving and all of that. But I just wanted to show you guys my thing. By the way, I'm a babe with a vision. So yes, I do have dreams and I do have visions, and whatever you want to call me, my name, like empath or what have you. I've got gifts. I know shit. I sense shit. Shit happens around me that nobody can explain. You come up with my name, right? All right. With that being said, excuse me. I didn't want to burp in your face, but I had I'm talking a lot right now, so I had to make it happen. Okay, let's talk about Beauty and the Beast because that is the Jelly Roll and Bunny XO story. Now, if you had seen the videos that I did of them, we talked about Jelly Roll's chart being another FAFO chart, right? Jelly Roll is a life path 11, master intuitive 11. What is the 11? It's the duplication of the one. What is the one? The one is the one of the leaders, yeah, the weirdo, but also the male dominant, right? It's the father. That hard, stuck in the mud, like, you know, rigid, strict line, straight edge. That is the one, right? So kind of a duplication of that. What an 11 is a very dominant person that has a lot of really good instincts about them. And they do bring in some love because at the end of the day, 1 plus 1 does equal 2, even though you're not deducing it. So a lot of 11s like to cook too, just because it's kind of the way that they process love or interpret love. All right, so he's a birthday 4, which is the builder and justice. Literally, Jelly Roll's entire chart, except for his heart's desire, his entire chart is all 3 leadership numbers. So you've got in all of numerology, for personal numerology, you've got only 12 digits. Like I told you before, that's all you need. You've got the cardinals 1 through 9, and then you've got the masters 11, 22, and 33. And that's it. And then you have 5 different placements in your chart in which any of those 12 numbers can fall, right? And you calculate them through different things. So the life path and birth date are derived from the actual date of your birth, and then your expression, personality, and heart's desire numbers are derived from different calculations of the spelling of your name, right? So, with this being said, there are 3 leaders among the cardinals. That's the 1, the 4, and the 7. Pay attention to the shapes of numbers as I talk about them, right? We got the 1, the 4, and the 7. Look at those numbers in comparison to the rest of the numbers 1 through 9. Those are the only 3 numbers that have no rounds to them, no whimsical anything, no curves. Everything is hard, line, rigid. So, what does that mean? That means very rigid, intolerant, stubborn personalities, because those are the leaders of the cardinals. The shapes of the numbers are going to tell you a lot about their attributes, right? So, Jelly Roll's chart, his entire chart is as follows: life path 11, birthday 4, expression 7, personality 1, heart's desire 6. So you've got 11, 4, 7, 1. What are the 3 leadership numbers? 1, 4, and 7. So 4 out of his 5 numbers are leadership numbers, and one of those is an amplified leadership number of the 11. Okay? Then you have the heart's desire of 6. Let's do the 6 right now. Let's get that done because we want to make it. I have a heart's desire of 6, by the way. So the heart's desire is exactly what it sounds like. It's what we want out of life. It's what we want to manifest, what we want. Well, what is the 6? The 6 is rituals, right? It's traditions. It's the love of all things home and family and sacred. Okay. It reminds me of holidays like Christmas, traditions, home cooked meals, grandmother type energy. Look again at the shape of the number. The 6 is like a warm, cushy chair that's going to allow you to sit back in it. It's going to cuddle you and hold you and welcome you in. 6 people, high 6s, are often the type of people that you just meet and they automatically feel like family. Like they're just like, he reminds me of my brother, or, that's they just automatically family, right? And they accept you type that way as well, type energy. So that's what he wants most out of life, is like he wants that family life, right? He wants that tradition. He wants that home. He wants that regular, like, what's coming to me in energy is the American dream. Like he wants that everyday, simple American dream and in tradition and traditional value, even though he's a motherfucking boss, right? And I say a motherfucking boss because the rest of his chart is nothing but dominant, masculine, amplified, even. leadership numbers. Let's talk about, so you got the 4, which is the builder, right? The 1 is the CEO. The 1 is the CEO. So all the crazy weird ideas, liaison, not afraid to step outside, up front and center, like the first one in the company, that is the 1. Then you've got the 4. The 4 is the director of operations. So like the manager. 4s are really good with managing other people. It's the leader of the people. Look at the shape of the 4, right? Like a square with a stick. If you were to knock it over, it's going to be directing people, almost like a fence, you know? So the 4 is the builder. So it's also like lots of coordination and organization. A lot of times 4s can be really maybe like OCD in some ways, or they're opposite because they're shadow and light and everything. So they could be super disorganized. Okay, so let's go on. And it's also the justice. I want to talk about that too. It's also the justice. This is super important. This is super important because of something that Bunny and Jelly Roll did this year. And we'll talk about that in a little bit, but we'll just mention it now because I don't want to forget it. I think it was January 11th, 111, that they were in Congress, in court, talking about presenting this legislation where Jelly Roll proceeded to absolutely murder his presentation of this legislation like a motherfucking like he's been doing it all his life. Did you all see that? I want you to go back to the footage of Jelly Roll in Congress. Of Jelly Roll and Bunny XO going to Congress. Listen to him. The man is flawless in his presentation, in his cadence, in his how he is giving it off. He's so confident, intelligent, articulate, slayed it. All right? Absolutely slayed it. And that was a 111. Just because my friends, I'm just gonna say I think my girl Bunny might be a white witch, and I know she knows numerology. A number one, she gave me the like thumbs up and co-signed on the one I did for her. But I'm sorry, you took your man to Congress on 111, my love. Don't tell me you don't know numerology. Bunny's fucking killing it too. I can't wait to brag about her in a minute. Okay, so I say all of that to say Jolly Roll's got all of these, all of these freaking leaders in most of his numbers. Well, let's go to the expression number. What's that? That's the 7. Expression is how and why we do things, right? And what is the 7? The 7 is the executive producer. The 7 is the architect. The 7 is brilliance. It's strategy. It's protection. It's perfection. It is brilliance. It's secrets for protection. So the 7 is like the circuit board, right? Pulling the strings from behind the curtain. But is a leader in its own regard because it's not listening to anybody else. It's actually the brilliance behind the entire company. So they're gonna listen to him versus, and so the way that he lives his life, the way that he does things, as far as Jason DeFord, is through executive execution. You know what I mean? Like he is executing the tasks. Now, and he's the architect. So he's very smart, very very smart. Um, and I'm gonna say this doesn't, and he knows he's smart, but he doesn't realize his brilliance. I'm just gonna say that. And if Bunny sees this again, like I want to know that specific. I'm saying like there's an energy that I'm sensing that Bunny gets kind of frustrated. This is a part of her frustration, is the fact that people don't understand just how fucking brilliant this man is. They don't give him credit because he's this like bubbly, funny, jovial, jolly guy who's just love and fun and talent, right? But they don't give him credit for being brilliant and being a strategist and all of that, right? So there's just something coming to me with that. And I feel like Bunny also is like, he doesn't even realize how brilliant he is. Even though he knows he's brilliant and he knows he's very smart, like Bunny's sitting there like, yeah, you're smart. You're extra smart. You have no fucking clue. Like he doesn't even know how brilliant he is. That's what I'm sensing, right? Okay. So let's go to the perception number, which is the personality number, right? How we're perceived by the world. It's the one, that father dominant, you know, energy. Now I said this in their original reading because it was something that I was sensing in energy while looking at his chart. Even though he's very smart, even though he's very organized, and there's a plan, right? Because the seven is a plan. And even though he wants this family life of tradition and rituals and the American dream type thing, right? Simplicity and morals and traditions and values, even though the man is not to be fucked with. And I say this specifically for before they became big, because I've seen Bunny say this before where she was like, you have no clue. Like, he was the man. You guys think that I'm like that he wasn't dating bad bitches before me? Like I was one probably of, several at the time. I'm paraphrasing what that conversation was with her. But she was saying like, my boy has been the man and y'all motherfuckers don't even know. And this is the part of her frustration with this, right? Because she sees absolutely the incredible light and energy that this is. And I want to go back to that conversation that I was having earlier at the beginning of this, where I'm telling you guys about the fact that I don't know how I want to format it. I don't know that I necessarily want to keep it within your box and your rules and all of that, right? That's that same sort of like energy that we are going into with this whole age of Aquarius, where the paradigm and ideology of what societal standards for beauty have been are going to be changing big time. I want to say this far, like to the extreme, almost like ugly is going to become beautiful. That sort of a thing where it's not ugly, it's authenticity. Again, we're going, but what has been seen as ugly for so long is now going to be authenticity, which is going to be the highest frequency, which is going to be the most beautiful thing possible, right? So it's that realness, right? It's that authenticity that I want this show to be, that I want to be allowed to be with this. And it is that authenticity of what they're that's what the magic of their relationship is that it's authentic. You guys have to realize, y'all have to realize, and I say this with the utmost respect. One of my favorite people to talk about in the Bible, even when I was a Christian, like one of my favorite people to brag about in the Bible was Rahab, because I love talking about how God always used the most unlikely of lives and circumstances and people to do some of his greatest works. Look at David, an adulterous murder, a man after God's own heart. Rahab was a whore who hid God's men. Like, and her family were saved for doing that. God uses whores and mediums and psychics and witches for some of his biggest stuff sometimes. I'm just trying to say that because I've become such a fucking fan of Bunny XO. Like, God love Jelly Roll too, because he's a part of this whole like symbiotic wheel of amazingness that they are together. But like, literally, and I'll get into this with her chart here. Let's go ahead and talk about it. All right. Because she has changed, becoming Alyssa DeFord, becoming his wife, and Bunny XO, the like character, right? The well known personality. She's changed her life from trauma and resilience, and she's used her beauty and her mass appeal and her power and amplification of love, right? and wisdom, to join in on a program, a plan with somebody she is soul aligned with, right? Who's Jelly Roll, to then manifest together both major successes for both of their careers, their brands, and all of that, but also to do a shit ton of good. The whole save me theme. Now they're moving into like they've both gotten, they've both like stopped doing drugs and stuff like that. They're not, that's what the whole Congress, the congressional presentation was for, was because of fentanyl, and him advocating new legislation to help combat that. So both of their hearts want to do really, really big things for humanity. And they know, and she knows specifically as an energy worker, AKA if you want to call her a witch or if you want to call her whatever, right? She knows that she has these abilities, and in joining with the right forces is going to allow both of them to manifest everything that they not only want in their lives and more, but that they know that they were purposed for. These are purposed people. They know that they have their purpose. Just like that's what I love about Rahab's story. It's like Bunny's story is so the same. She is an admitted high class escort. That's what she was, who only recently came out of that work. And she is literally, you can tell she's one of the most genuine people on the planet. She helps people all the time. That's what she wants to do. Her heart's desire changes from the builder, which is the 4, which if we remember, that's Jolly Roll's birthday number. And it turns into the 9, which is the healer. Now she's got a birthday 22. She was born January 22nd of 1980. Hold on. So she's got a 22 daily energy. That's the master builder. The foundational frequency for that is the 4, which is Jolly Roll's birthday number. So they're still carrying in that energy. Both birthday numbers have the 4 energy in it, even though Bunny's is the master builder, which is the 22. That too is the nurturing, loving, mothering energy. Bunny loves everybody. Like, look at her show. It's so, she's such a badass though. Like, she's so, like, I can't think of another woman on the planet that's number one, more beautiful physically than Bunny XO, that just lives with her heart on her sleeve in so many ways and just knows how to be graceful. Where does the grace come from? Let's talk about that. I'm everywhere with her chart because I can't brag enough. Her expression is the 3. What is the 3? This is the creative child. This is the wise one, right? Her podcast is called the Dumb Blonde Podcast, which is the funniest thing to me because immediately I knew in energy, she wants you to think she's a dumb blonde. Like that's funny to her, because the chick is fucking brilliant. She's used her assets in a major way and she aligned with soul perfected energy of her mate. Like the most beautiful. You guys see 3D and you see like, wow, this blonde bombshell woman and this man who's not fitting within the standards of societal norms for beauty. And that's why she's going off about this because she's like, you stupid blind motherfuckers. Why don't you learn to fucking look in energy, which is looking at people's auras, which is looking at people's souls. And she's like, he's the prettiest motherfucker on the planet. And if their story is Beauty and the Beast, then Jelly Roll is the beauty and Bunny is the beast. That's their story. And that's where she's so fucking, like, I feel her. Like, she's so pissed off inside because it's almost like she can't find the words to say to humanity, fucking love us already. I love my man genuinely. There's no, like, shit behind this. There's no, like, weird, like, this is not for publicity. We are genuinely, authentically in love and we are aligned and we are soulmates and we're here for purpose and we're living in our purpose and we're happy and we're loving it, but we're human beings. Like, Don't be fucking assholes. We're just here to love and to do better by humanity. Like, that's what they're here for. That's what their love is here for. That's what their union is here for. That's their whole energy, is that save me energy. And I wish you people would wake the fuck up and get out of your 3D mindsets of he has to look a certain way. I'm a big girl myself. I've been big and fought the battle of the bulge my entire life. I have PCOS, I have metabolic syndrome, I've struggled. My hair's falling out because I don't eat a lot. I don't eat enough. Like I'm supposed to eat more. Like you don't understand it unless you go through it. And yes, I work out. And yes, yes, I do all the things. Could I do them better? Yes. Do I fall sometimes? Yes. But moreover than not, I do all the things consistently. So we live in a simulation. And there are certain programs that we all believe about ourselves and about the reality that we live in. And people like me, and people like Jelly Roll, we have a certain understanding and belief about ourselves, and that's what we have to reprogram. It's hard to do that when it's all you know. And once you do that, once you deprogram the brain part of it, the body follows. The matrix follows. What you believe, again, as a man thinketh, so is he. We literally manifest our reality through our thoughts. So, just to kind of give you a little bit of insight with that. Now, to give you a little bit of insight okay, let's go back to Bunny XO. What's her life path number? The 5. And I've quoted their thing so wrong. I said that Jelly Roll was the 5. Jelly Roll is not the 5. Bunny XO is the 5. What is the 5? The 5 is mass appeal and beauty. Other high fives. Kyrie Irving, we just did. Stephen A. Smith. DJ Khaled was another high 5. 11-5 specifically. So Beyonce is a high 5. Massive, massive appeal and beauty, right? But beauty, look at DJ Khaled. I'm sorry, what? But that doesn't fit in the societal norm of beauty. And at the same time, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but there is that mass appeal there. Look at the mass appeal. That's what beauty is. It's mass appeal, right? So we need to start changing our paradigms surrounding what our societal norms are going to be going forward. And I'm not saying it weird. Like I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, there's multiple genders and this and that. No. I go with science. I go with facts. You can have your feelings all you want. You can get mad all you want. That's another thing. I will probably trigger the fuck out of people on this show. I have my opinions and I'm very, I'm a 1. I'm a 4-1. I got 2 of the 3 leadership, stubborn numbers and my highest numbers in my chart. I'm going to say my shit and I'm going to stand on it. And I know I'm going to ruffle some feathers and that's fine. But I go with facts and what truth is and what the science is backing, So it doesn't mean that people can't believe what they want about themselves, but I draw the line when you try to tell me what then I got to think or say or what have you. That's where I have a problem and I'll stand my ground till wherever with that one. But I say all of this to say there was another point that of energy that I was sensing with this with Bunny. So you guys also have to understand this woman had opportunities with probably any man that she wanted. She probably had every man that she ever wanted. And she's like, so what? The most beautiful man that I would want to, if I could only ever be with one man again, this is the man that it would be because I love his soul. That's Jelly Roll. Like, I don't understand. To me, I'm so different. I don't understand how the world cannot get that. I don't know. I don't understand how the world cannot automatically be like, yeah, that makes sense. Because she's already had every, man that she could ever want. So yeah, she's probably looking for the actual beauty, which is your spirit, your energy, your inside beauty. Yeah, that would make sense. You idiots. And not to all listeners. I'm saying the idiots are the ones that are saying that they can't understand, and they're bullying Jelly Roll and all of that, right? Those people, those simple-minded 3D fucking Matrix NPC fucks, those people. I say all of that to say that when it comes to Bunny, I can understand. There's I I know that I am a very attractive woman. I know that I'm above average in looks. It's not coming from a place of pride, but I know I'm a very beautiful woman. Above average, beautiful. At the same time, I know I am nowhere near the level of Bunny XO, okay? Nor am I trying to compare myself. But what I can say is this, is that I feel like I can relate to her in the fact of I have always, I have what I'm attracted to, physically in a man, but I've always had a thing for like very odd looking men. Not necessarily unattractive, but not what you would necessarily call handsome per se. I've dated handsome guys and I've just found them to kind of be more weird than anything. But like, if there's a specific, unique look to a man, like my thing has been, I've dated a lot of pro athletes, right? That's kind of been my history. But not all of them are like GQ, like beautiful. Like, no, they're very interesting looking. They got swag about them. They're definitely very appealing, but not what I would necessarily call handsome. But they're very attractive to me. Got a lot going for them. The energy's there, the personalities are there, and I'm attracted to them physically. I'm attracted to their looks and their energy. It's almost like their looks be their looks are their energy. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like their face becomes their energy. I'm not looking at their looks, you know? I hope that makes sense. And I can see how she would be like, I love this man. I'm in love with this man. He is so attractive to me. And he doesn't have to change a thing other than I want him to be healthy. He doesn't have to change a thing. And I will love this man till the day I die. I can absolutely see that. And I don't understand how nobody else can. So with that being said, to Jolly Roll and Bunny XO. Bunny, girlfriend, A number one. Thanks for, being the one to trailblaze. Sorry, the trash is being brought back into my house or outside of the house, which is loud. So we're going to give it a moment. And then we shall continue. We'll get a drink. Okay. So we're at an hour and 30 minutes. It's been one hell of an ADD ride on this episode 6, but I warned you. I warned you. It was going to be the chaotic episode. And that it was. But it was also Beauty and the Beast, the story of Jelly Roll, aka Beauty, and his wife Bunny XO, aka the Beast. And I love it. It's so cute. It's like, yeah, yeah. They're killing it together. And so just may this be an energy, even if they don't hear this particular full episode. I really wish them the best. I would one day love to actually meet them and podcast with them. Hence the reason I'm not listening to a Jelly Roll song until I meet him. That's my thing, is because I feel like one day it's going to happen in energy. So I'll put it out there. And with that being said, if you've listened this far, thank you so much for tuning in and staying tuned. I hope that it's not been too ADD and everywhere. If you have any questions, I want your feedback. I want your questions. I want to know what you think, what you like, what you don't like, what you would like to hear and see, so on and so forth. You can reach me at Naughty Numerology Podcast on Instagram, TikTok, and of course at Rothy Reads Numbers on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. And you can also, we have a Patreon now. I'm going to upload more exclusive content to the Patreon. So make sure to go on there. I will be doing classes. I will be doing workshops. I will be doing lives on the Patreon too, where you can come in, ask questions. We can do your charts together, all sorts of fun stuff like that. So, Naughty Numerology on Patreon as well. And yeah, if you if you have any artists or favorite athletes or anybody that you would like me to do their chart, submit that for recommendation as well. And yeah, other than that, thank you so much for your love and support and your feedback and your engagement. And let me know what you think. I'm legitimately so excited to hear back from the chaotic episode, see what's gonna stick and what is not. So let me know, guys. Love you so much. Thanks so much and have a great day. Bye.